Alrighty. A little off schedule, but that's okay. Hey, what's up? Okay. Anybody that might be new here, if you want to follow along and the people could fly, but I am going all the way to the back and flipping back. One more. So the story before the people could fly. The story before. All right, so in this story, John doesn't get his freedom in this tale, but he will be valued so long as he can continue as quote unquote the prophet. This is the best known of the quote oh my bad, old master and John or Jack, or Old Master and the Slave tales, of which there are many. Old Master, sometimes called Mass, and John tales are found in the southern United States and among East Africans and Haitians, Jamaicans, Puerto Ricans, and many other Caribbean peoples. The tales are a cycle narrative, tales told one after the other over a period of time, sometimes accompanied by the banjo. They reveal the slave, John, rather than Brer Rabbit as the plantation slave's trickster hero. John and the owner seem to have an almost friendly relationship. In some of the other John tales, Old Mass is referred to as boss, which identifies those tales as taking place after slavery and signals the former slave's uneasy relationship with his former owner. So this story is called The Most Useful Slave. Say that John was the most useful slave on the plantation. The slave owner never having to worry about his slaves trying to run away or to start in a bad trouble. He had a way of knowing exactly what was going on around the plantation, and the way he knew was because of John. Now, John knew how to prophesy for the slave owner, who was Mass Tom. He could tell you what was going to happen, and he was never wrong once in his predictions. The slave owner believed John was a fortune teller with supernatural power, for John knew exactly what the slave owner wanted done and exactly when he wanted it done as well. The truth was that John collected all he needed to know from eavesdropping by listening in on the slave owner and his wife while they ate their supper. One day, the owner, Tom, was talking to some other planters, and he found out that they were worried about unrest among the slaves. After listening a while, Tom said he never had to worry about anything because he had a real smart slave who could prophesy. Prophesy. There ain't a slave that smart that can foretell, one of the planters said. Well, I bet you money there is, Tom said. You that sure? The planter asked, and Tom said he was. You all put your money down, he told them, and come over to my house next Saturday and you'll see for yourselves. Well, all the slave owners put their money down. It came to thousands and thousands of dollars, too, and they all accepted slave owner Tom's invitation. Well, the day came, wasn't a bad day at all, and all the owners came, and they were eager to see this slave that was so smart. Someone had a place for John to stand. In front of the place, one of the planters put a big box. There was something inside it. Nobody knew but the one had put it there what it was. When everything seemed to be ready and everybody had gathered around and quieted down, Mass Tom brought John out, blindfolded, and had him stand there. One of the planters' name was Mass Carter, said to John, we're going to see what we see this day, and I got money down on you. Well, what for? Blindfolded John says. Well, you must know, says the owner Carter. You, the one, knows everything. Just then, Mass Tom says, now, neighbors, Uncle John here will tell us what is hidden in that big box. Now you know. What was in the box was a little smaller box, so John couldn't hear what was going on inside. Well, John stood there for a long, long time, trying to hear at least something scratching about the box. But he couldn't. But he worked his hands like he was swatting the air and getting something in his head that way. He looked to be tranced some way. John thought and he thought. The more he had to stand there blindfolded, the more he knew he didn't know what was in the big box. He had no idea at all what was in that little smaller box because he didn't even know it was there. It's no use, John thought. Guess what I will is in that box. I'd be wrong. In the box, he said out loud. Didn't know he'd said it, but it caused the planters there to get to murmuring, thinking something was about to happen. He'd said box twice, and that made the owner Carter take a listen. And John was figuring he might as well give it up. He scratched his head and shifted his feet around. Well, Mass Tom, he finally said, this old raccoon, he run a long time, but they caught him at last. When John said that, his owner Tom lifted the box and the smaller box. Lo and behold, a raccoon jumped out to the ground. Well, thank you, Uncle John, says his owner. He couldn't have been happier. See, John was a prophet, and Mass Tom was a whole bunch richer. This one's kind of funny. Hope y'all enjoyed.